Hey guys, what's up? Uh, yeah, I feel like it's been quite a long time since I've actually sat down and filmed a video. I feel like it's maybe been like a few years. That's, I guess you can say, the consequences of being so chronically offline that I have been as of late. But I recently just felt the need to come out of Patrick Starr's Rock. Um, to say something. And I've made a few TikToks about it, but I feel that it needs to be a proper YouTube video about it because it seems a lot of people that are talking about this, they're not really on TikTok to be seeing me post it. A lot of people that are going around and speculating about this subject matter are on YouTube. So I thought, for the first time in years, let me get back into it, sit down, and film a proper video. So the subject matter in this video, if you couldn't already tell by the caption, or not by the caption, by the title of the video, anyways, is basically all the things that the internet is basically digging up from the past about Drake Bell, all of the false things as well, and bringing it back up as if it's literal fact. And also, I just wanted to question the validity of some of the things that is being said about this current situation. So, without further ado, let's get started on topic number one, and that is some of the claims that has been made from Melissa herself about Drake and how the internet has taken it and run with it. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but there has been the statement made in the past by Melissa herself where she claims that she was in an intensive abusive relationship with Drake. Now, one thing I'd like to comment on that is, while yes, Drake has acknowledged that he has made some mistakes with his girlfriends in the past and that he's growing and he's changing, and I believe that therapy can actually change an individual and make them grow into a brand new person. So just off of that itself, even if all of the claims are true, I'd like to believe that humans, we can change, and I'm very much a believer of second chances. But regardless of that, moving on to the actual claims being set forth. So, now, like I said, correct me at any point in the comments if I'm wrong. But from what I've read, that she claimed that there was physical abuse and verbal abuse. Now, obviously, there's no way to prove in court verbal abuse. There's just no way to do that. But physical abuse, there are so many ways you can document it and get evidence, compile it, and take it to court. And from what I've read on the subject matter, it was never properly taken to court, anything she'd claimed she'd been through. She just kind of talked about it on social media platforms, and then people just kind of took it as is. And that's kind of the one problem I have with that is like I said, there are so many ways to compile physical abuse happening, and that if such a thing ever happened, and you had actual proof, why not take it to court? It just doesn't make sense that it became like a case thrown in the wind. It just doesn't make any sense. But then there's also the fact that years down the line, I believe she asked Drake Bell for some money, to borrow some money. And from me personally going through an abusive situation with an individual, I'm not going to claim who it is, whether if it's relationship, whether if it's platonic, or whether it be parental. I'm not going to say that because it doesn't really matter. But as someone who's gone through a certain situation, I would never, ever go back to my abuser and ask them for financial assistance in any way. I would actually be trying to distance myself as far as possible from them because obviously I want to gain my independence from them and be free again. I don't want them to have any reason to chain me back down to them. But the fact that she went over to him and asked him for money anyways, instead of just going to a financial advisor, that's what they're there for, just kind of has me questioning the validity of any of her claims as to how abusive he actually was. Because if he was so, god awfully horrendous and that were so afraid of him, why did you go back to him for help? Why did you feel comfortable enough, or how did you feel comfortable enough to go back and ask your abuser for help? It just doesn't make any sense. Now, moving on from that, there is now the claims I want to question the validity of, which is of the court case that happened and got settled in 2021 over, you know what, at this point, I don't know her name. She doesn't deserve me to know her name. I'm just going to call her a Canadian liar. And that is like some of her claims that just have no validity. And even the judge himself, literally in the most professional manner, said that this is the first time I've had to question the validity of a victim's claims. And then in another part, on quote, said, I question the victim's reality. Like, he literally actually said that, meaning the judge and the court that took 2 years to come up with a sentencing literally is calling her delusional. Like, either delusional or a liar or both. Regardless, they aren't buying her nonsense. And neither am I. And here's why you shouldn't. I'm going to try and sway you in the right direction. So before I even get like real started on the topic of conversation about that, I'm going to put an idea in your mind, okay? Imagine you are having a DM conversation with an individual. Let's say you met them through Tinder, wherever, doesn't matter. The things are going nice, they're going good, the person's fun, they're nice to talk to, and then suddenly out of nowhere, things go wayward and the person's being really aggressive, demanding, and wants this and this and this and this pictures from you. And so now you're just feeling kind of scared, doing whatever they ask so that they don't get frustrated by you. So if you're in that kind of a situation and you fear this individual, would you go so far as to pay money to find ways to see this individual in person? Or would you use common sense and try and find a way to distance yourself from this individual that scares you half to death so much through DMs? Because anyone with a brain would, one, first of all, deactivate their Instagram account for a while to kind of distance themselves from this individual. And also just generally, like I said, distance themselves. But the fact that she didn't and continued to basically stalk him, I like to consider this woman, now woman, at that time a girl, this woman a stalker. She was literally Drake Bell's stalker, and that's the fact. Because she literally went to every single one of his shows, paid for meet and greets and all that, so was meeting him all under the like situation of they're still in constant DM and she's uncomfortable by him. If you're so uncomfortable by someone, why are you going to their shows? Why are you trying to meet them? Why are you being supportive in their career? Why are you even there? And like, it just doesn't make any sense. And what makes it kind of worse is the fact that her profile was just generally faked. Like, she made her profile in which, to the point where it doesn't really even look like her in reality anymore. She basically catfished Drake in a way, shape, or form. So when they actually like kind of like met in person in a meet and greet fan type of way, he did not know who this individual was and that this was the individual he was messaging. He had no clue because he was under the illusion he was texting a grown ass adult. Because, like I said, her profile catfished him. So with that, continuing on that, there is claims that she said that multiple times during his shows, he had taken her backstage and done something, taken her to a hotel and done something, when I don't know how that's even possible, considering, like I said, he did not know who this individual was and who, like, he did not know. He did not put these two together. He had no way of putting these two together. But also the fact that there's just like, several eyewitnesses telling her how full of shit she is and how this never happened. And with like the backstage thing, so many people that was working with him on tour literally came out and said, yeah, no, I was constantly walking in and out of that room. Nobody was in there. You were not in there with him. Stop lying. But then there also comes the hotel room, which the auntie literally said that never happened. But let's say if that did happen, okay, let's say if it did. Why is nobody like, if y'all really believe that this happened, why are none of y'all bashing the auntie for literally allowing her niece to stay in a hotel room alone with a grown-ass adult? Why are none of you bashing her in about that? Because, like, but the fact that that never even happened, like, I don't need to further circle around a situation that never happened. But also the fact that, like I said, during the court case, like, this court sentencing is literally, they did it on Zoom and they recorded it and it's on YouTube for everybody to see. So I highly suggest you to go and watch that full video and then come to your own conclusion of what happened. Like, you don't even have to take anything I say for it. Go watch the court case. Go watch it. Because this man was literally doxxed for 2 whole years. Like, he had his phone taken away, his socials taken away. They straight up went after his wife, too. Just to find nothing that she claims. At least, majority nothing of what she claimed. And in the court sentencing, the judge and the prosecutors and everyone in that surrounding who has the opportunity to talk is saying as such. And if you go and actually look at the video and see the way that everyone's like interacting in it, you can see that every single time the judge or the prosecutor or whatever is just basically slashing on any of her claims, you can literally see the girl throwing an absolute temper tantrum because she sees that her lies are coming to face, being shown as lies. And like, that aside, also just the absolute, like, fake tears that she was putting up a show for. Like, I swear to God, I think this girl should go and be an actress. She's so good at it. I have a feeling her real crying was over the fact that she was just being exposed and she just couldn't emotionally handle being exposed. But she wanted everyone to believe that she was crying because, like, oh my God, I'm not being listened to, you know? But, to conclude all of that, in the end, it literally shows that the only thing he was convicted of was texting someone underage, which he immediately put an end to. And there was proof that he's the one who put an end to it the second he found out she was underage. There's, like, at this point, people who are going around and saying the exact opposite are just going off of nothing. Like, there's no foundation for their base claims, like for their basis. There's nothing. Because the evidence shows the contrary. But regardless, one other thing that kind of grinds my gears is the fact that with all this on top of it all, so many people on, I'm just going to say it, Tumblr and Twitter, y'all are toxic as hell. This is why I'm chronically offline. You lot are bringing up the past, that fact that he did performances in high schools, and you guys are saying, like, oh, that's so sus. How? It could literally be any other celebrity performing at a high school, and you guys would never bat an eye. Not a singular care would have been focused towards it. As furthermore proof to it, here is my middle school yearbook, right? And this is from when I was in the 8th grade. And there was this guy who came and performed at our school. His name is at the bottom there if you'd like to go and take a look and see who he is. It was on March 20th of 2015. And he came and performed for middle schoolers. But I don't see anybody slamming this dude to smithereens the way you lot are doing with Drake Bell for just doing a tour of American high schools. And one other thing I need to say, some of you guys are also mentioning the fact that, like, oh my God, it's so sus he took his shirt off in the middle of a concert. Let me, as someone who grew up in Los Angeles or California, whatever, let me just tell you, California summers are not for the faint of heart. They are not kind at all. There are some times when I was growing up there that I straight up just wanted to strip naked. That's how awful the weather was during the summertime. So it's not strange at all the fact that he decided to take his shirt off to cool down in a show. Because, like, August is hell in California. And anyone who is raised in California will know how hellish it is. But the other thing is, continuously, like I'm saying, it could have literally been any other artist, and you guys aren't saying nothing about it. But the fact that it's Drake Bell who did this, and the internet already has a false narrative about him that are just, they're running to the stars and the cosmos with it, that adding on top of it, y'all just love to take a story and run with it. So, like, what I want to see, though, is those who are, like, being so cancel culture about this situation, I want to see y'all put that energy where that energy actually properly belongs. Like, I know there's some Chris Brown fans out there. There's no way you can be a Chris Brown fan and then be hating on Drake Bell at the same time, when Chris Brown has been convicted of so many things far worse than the one, like, text messages that Drake Bell was convicted of. So many of your favorite celebrities have done far worse, and yet you put your focus on Drake Bell. Why do people like P. Diddy, Justin Timberlake, Chris Brown, why do they still have careers? Why do they still have fans? That's what I thought. Go put your energy towards and cancel culture towards actual abusers and be on the side of actual victims. Like literal court-proven victims. But that's just my 2 cents on it. If any of you guys disagree with anything I said in any way, shape, or form, you are more than welcome to correct me in the comment section. And I'm not going to delete any of the comments. You know, YouTube is a free space. You can say whatever you want. I don't care. I'm not going to delete them. Unlike that other creator I once saw a video of. Like, the YouTuber's name is Oofy Dookie. Yeah, no, I'm not going to be a personally butthurt individual and say I'm going to delete your comments if I find I don't like it. The internet is a free space. You can say whatever you'd like. I don't care. But yeah, only proper evidence is justifiable to contradict anything I've ever said. If you bring anything from People magazine, I'm going to disregard it. If you bring anything from just, like I said, magazine, publishing companies, like if you bring any of that stuff from the press and the media, I'm going to disregard it, because those are not facts. That's nothing. Link actual court documents, actual legal stuff. And I'll read it. And I don't know. I'll read it. But I highly doubt anyone's going to find absolutely anything. But anyways, that is it for this video. With how inconsistently I post on this account. See you in the next millennia. Bye!